Hi, we are going to talk about how we can actually host or how we can actually get our own specific models to be run on the rented GPUs through the cloud services that is available and how we can make it more cost effective. The idea was that cloud code is becoming very expensive with this future plans of removing the 20x plan. So $100 might seems very costly, and I would just wanted to make it more simplified on how we can actually rent GPUs and how we can install the models and how we can actually use it in our cloud code, just like earlier we have been using it. And similar to ChatGPT, also there is an interface available. Before going over there, I just wanted to talk about what exactly it is. So in cloud code is more like a body that is available, which has a lot of facilities like MCPs, tools, repo plans, like skills that I have created that I can still use it. So cloud code API in the backend which was running, that's more like an engine. Uh, you can actually replace it with the OpenRouter. That is one of the public services that is available. Of course, there is a cost for that, and there are free models as well. And another is a self-host that you can install the model in your laptop or in your desktop, and you can use it for unlimited, and there is no cost to that. But you need to have very good configuration of your laptop. Now, in those cases, it's easier to think of something like have a better effective models like Qwen 3.5 or GLM or something like that. And now coming to the how we are going to do it. So there are two services, Vast.ai and OpenRouter is one of the competitor kind of a platform. Not competitor, but it provides you the same kind of facility. So through the Vast, actually I can rent a GPU and I can run any model, which is of course open source mostly. In the OpenRouter, you can actually get the you need to have just one single API key for any number of models. It could be a cloud, it could be GPT, or it could be the same model which I am going to use in the Vast.ai. The only difference is that in the Vast, I can actually configure what is the GPU that I want to have, what is the model that specifically I want to have, and there is a full security and privacy over there. There is a lot of specific customization that you can do. In the OpenRouter also you can do it, but the costing is very different. The main difference is in the cost. In the Vast.ai, you of course do not have any cost on the models, but you have a cost on the GPUs. So the number of hours you use, there is a cost to that. But when you talk about the OpenRouter, you do not have to think of a terms of hours, but in terms of a token. If you use the any specific no amount of token, then it is very good to use OpenRouter. But if you think uh, you need a you need to do a very heavy task and a very continuous manner, then actually the Vast.ai is very cheap. Why? Because the code files have too many tokens. And you can think of it as a very simple analogy that is given over here, that ordering a food delivery versus renting a kitchen, which seems to be more cheaper for you. And if you have to make a decision around it, so probably you can look at my screen and you can see how different models have been compared, like setup time, the cost, and the model choices that is available, and the privacy, some of the things that is which seems reasonable considerations. Uh, I will be using the Qwen 3.5 because when I'm actually using a Vast.ai, most of the times when I take any GPUs on the rent, there is already a pre-installed model. So every time we take a GPU, we need to install, but most of the time it is actually installed. And if we compare it with the Cloud OPS 4.6, it is not so far behind, and it is actually giving a good result at the 35 billion parameters. It can go up to 122 billion parameters as well. Now, I have created a one document as well, which has all the instructions line by line on how we can actually use it, what are the steps to use it. And you can actually go to this website called ollama.com, and there you can actually see which are models available. Like GLM 5.1 is known to be very good. The Qwen 3.5 I'm talking about right now. There are many other models, but if you look at it, you can see 6.9 millions has been pulled on this. And Similarly, there are many others, but you can see 6.5, 6.9 is very good number, which means a lot of people are using it. That's why it's readily available for me as well. So if I go to Vast.ai, I can see this website. You have to make a login. There is no cost at all initially. If you go to OpenRouter, there also you can actually get this one single API key, and you can actually do most of the things. You can see and explore this area, and you can see which all models are available. And there are many agents are also available which you can actually use it, which is very good thing, I mean, I would say. But I will be focusing more on this. Once you reach over here, you make a sign up. You don't have to pay anything. You have to go to console. Once you go to console, once the page has loaded, you will see something like this, where you will be able to see a template. On the left side you can see search, template, instances, storage, billing. I have already taken few credits of dollars just to experiment and play around it for my own purpose. And you can see different GPUs which are available, and you can see the cost which is also available. At this point, there are many ways through which we can connect, but the most simpler way is when you go through the Open Web UI, and it's very easy. So you have to choose the template or change the template. There are many other options like you have VRAM Omni, you have SGLang, you have many other different options that you can actually use it, which is available. Hugging Face or Langflow, right? But I will be going with the Open Web UI. So you have to come over here, you have to click on this. Once you come over here, we are talking about the uh, model which is of Qwen. So to be able to run this, we need only this RTX 4090, which can run very well for the 35 billion parameters. And if we are talking about 70 billion parameters, then we need double of it, right? But now when I come back here, I can just do simply Control F. I can just search. It's pretty easy to search. I can see for the 4090 there is 0.7, then there is another which is available at 0.743. I'll look for the one which is easily cheaper available. So these are some of the options that is available. There are many other models which are actually GPUs actually which are available at cheaper price. The key difference that you would probably see why this is the cost factor is in the different configurations. And these 160 to 85 are basically the operational capacity that is being shown over here. Of course, one RTS has only 81, but once you double it, it becomes 162, which is quite obvious. You would see the 99.62 is a reliability. This should be more than 99 in general. Since I'm not doing anything critical, so I'll go with this. I'll click on this. I will be charged on the basis of hourly basis. So once I click on it, my instance is going to start. I have to go to instance. It is right now getting started. I can see the logs from here, and whenever we are not using it, we can actually destroy it, and you can see that it has started very well. I click on this open. Once I click on this, it will open up for me a web UI which will give me an access to different ways to connect with the models or to be able to use it. Now the page has loaded and something like this will come up on your screen. So there are ways that you can actually connect. If I click on this launch application, it will open up for me a web UI which is similar to ChatGPT that we can say while it is being loaded. There are many other options that is available on my API. I'll be going through actually this. We click on the this configuration, and these configurations is what I will be using to connect with my cloud. So we click on this launch button, and when we click on this, it basically opens up something like this, which will be more of a web UI, and we have to make a login over here. Every time we make an instance, every time we open this, this has to be created you can keep any password that you can remember, and once it is there, I can just close it. I can see somebody has already used the same GPU earlier and it has the same Qwen 3.5 35 billion parameters. So if I just ask some simple questions, initially when we ask a first question it will take some time, but afterwards it will start spinning faster and it will give you the responses much quicker. It is what it is how it is happening. And if anything goes back in the backend, you will probably be able to see how GPU and CPU is being used and they are being called. Right now nothing is being responded, that's why there is no activity on this. Once it starts spinning, it will give you the responses. Meanwhile it's actually happening, we can actually uh, get more models. In this document actually you can see how everything is to be done, and you can actually install other models as well. There are many other models which is available, like right now we are talking about this one that is basically generally good at coding and other stuffs, but you can use the Qwen 3 coder, which also is very specific to code. There is a DeepSeek, there is a Llama, there is a Gamma, which is right now being called out to be very good in the performance. And then we move on to the next step of API key, where we basically have to enable the API key. So we have to go to the admin sections over here, and we should be able to see something called API key over here, which we are not able to. So we click on this. So we need API keys which were not available. So we will actually click on this settings, and we should be able to see API key which is not here. So in that case we probably have to go somewhere where there is an admin. So I go to click on admin panel, I go to my settings. In the general settings itself there will be option called enable API. So if I enable APIs, I'll be able to see that option. There are many other options also, like web URL or webhooks if we are building any applications using this. And we have to see enable API keys, and this is the one. I click on this. Once it is done, we have to click on this save. Once it is done, we can actually come back to this user settings. So come back here, go to settings, go to accounts, and we will be able to see the API keys. I can click on this, I can see it, and I can copy it. Now that is copied, I come back to this project which I was trying. Here we have to, I can just create a simple tst file, and I can just call it as temp.tst, and here we have some formats that need to be copied, and which are these. So I'll just copy it here, and I will update it with the base URL. So when we are talking about the base URL, if you look at the instructions, it says the base URL is, if you go to application page, click on the Open WebUI, we see advanced connection options, which is this, and we can see what is our API. So this is our API. Here we can put our API. My port number is 23546. I have this ready with me. There is a API key that we had to copy from here. I'll just copy it and I'll put it here. Since I'm doing it first time, I don't need to worry about anything else. I just need to control all and I can actually put it over here. Now that we have done this, now we just need to connect it with the Qwen model and the cloud. So when we run it, make sure that you do not have any, if you have used earlier, you have to log out from the cloud and then you have to run it. So it will ask you certain permissions. Now you can see actually it's a cloud and it's a Qwen 3.5, 35 billion parameters. Which model are you? So it should give us a result. If we come across any issues, there are some of the tips that I have faced earlier, and these are some of the helpful things that can be useful when we are using it. And again, initially it takes a little bit some time, but laterwards it will be fast enough, like we were able to see in this case, where it was giving us a little bit slower result in terms of this, and we can see if the GPU is actually hitting it something or not. So you can see when I run this question, it gave me the answer what model it is. There is one error which I was getting. So what I did initially is I basically went back and I actually copied this code, because if I have anything already set in my system, it needs to be removed. So I used this and I went back. I was using this 23456 from Ollama API. Instead of using that, we should use Open WebUI, which is what we have open here, and the APIs are taken from here itself. So make sure that you copy this correctly and make a proper URL over here. Once you've done it, you can actually run this by simply typing Claude, and you have it running right now. If I just want to see, give me summary of my current project in this folder. So now I can use it for a continuous in a continuous manner. I don't have to think about uh, just like in Cloud Code we have a 5 hours of window for the use in a 20x. I don't have to think like that. I can continuously work for 5 hours and I just have to pay for that, and it gives me a summary of what I already have in my this current project, and it can actually create a file as well as read it as well. And if you want to close it, you can just simply Control C and you can actually close it, and this is how actually you can um, use it. This document is actually available over. I will be sharing with you if you have this video, and through this you can actually copy it, all the codes that you want to use it, and make sure that when you are not using it, you have to actually come back here and you have to disable it, which means you have to destroy it. If you do not destroy it, if you actually stop your instance, you can see it says clearly that storage charges still apply, which is somewhere around 0.006 dollars somewhere for the storage on a day level, which you will be charged. The advantage of that is basically if you have installed anything very specific model, you don't have to wait again to getting it installed, because it usually take 10 to 15 minutes at max. Otherwise you can see out of 32 GB 24 GB is actually occupied. So this is how it is. Thank you for watching.